Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Ariana. I'm an Airbnb co-host and a content creator, and I'm so excited to be uploading the second part of my Airbnb co-hosting series where I'm teaching you how to own your life and start an Airbnb co-hosting business. I've been doing this for about a year now. I'm currently managing 2 properties, and in 2024, I expect to see so much more growth from this business, and so I want to make sure that I'm being authentic and transparent with how you can do this too. Maybe we can do this journey together. And so if this is of any interest to you, then make sure you subscribe to my channel because I will be continuously uploading content like this. This video will be focusing on how to find hosts to co-host for. I know that is one of the biggest questions that I typically get when people hear me talking about Airbnb co-hosting and my business. So I want to make sure that I share some ways that I've been able to do that and get hosts so that you can too. That's the ultimate goal. I'm not here to gatekeep. I'm not here to hold anything back. There's enough hosts to go around, there's enough money to go around, and so I'm happy to share what I do know and what I have learned thus far with you. So that's what this video will be about. I did post a first video. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go check it out. That's where I talk more about like how I got into it and just kind of just like a brief overview of Airbnb hosting in general. So make sure you go check that video, and then the following videos, as I mentioned, will kind of go into like more specifics about certain things. So if you are interested in the series, make sure again you like and subscribe to this channel, and let's get right into it. So as I mentioned, the biggest question that I typically get about Airbnb co-hosting is, Ariana, how do you find a host? And that is honestly the question of the century when it comes to this business plan, because there really isn't a for sure way of how to find hosts. Of course, I'm going to give you some tips on how I've been able to find hosts to co-host for, and some other ways that I'm aware of that I've been trying out, things that I'll be implementing in 2024 to grow this business. But I do want to disclaimer and say that just like with any business, it's not easy to find clientele at times. It does take a process, it takes a referral, it takes you, kind of getting really delved in and deep dived into the business in order to see results or just to get a host. So I don't want you to think that while this is something that you could legitimately start today, I want you to know that some work is going to be involved in being an Airbnb co-host and finding hosts for. The good thing is, which I always try to think of the silver linings, that there are thousands of Airbnb hosts, right? there are so many people doing Airbnb. You just really need a couple of them, okay? There's thousands. You don't need thousands. You just need 10, 20 if that's what you want to do, maybe 2 to 3 just starting out, right? So I'm going to give you some tips of how you can do that. So without further ado, the first tip that I have is connect with realtors. That's how I found my first property. If you want to know more of the back end story about how that kind of happened, then I suggest you go watch the first video because I kind of delve into it deep more. Today I really just want to focus on the key points and the highlights of how to find an Airbnb host. So the first one again is connecting with a realtor. Whether it can be a friend member, a family member, a friend, or somebody that you meet through networking events, but you want to connect with a realtor and ask them basically, hey, I have an Airbnb co-hosting business. If you know anybody who is purchasing a property for Airbnb or doing any type of investment, give them my contact information. And that will sometimes go a long way. If you don't know any realtors, then I highly recommend that you look up meetup.com. I think Meetup and there's another website, if I can remember it, I'll drop it here on the screen or in the description box, but immediately thought of Meetup. Meetup.com is a place where people can go for networking events and things like that. So I would look up some networking, realtor networking events in your area to see if you can go and start to meet realtors, just so that you can of course therefore say, hey, nice connecting with you. I'm an Airbnb property manager. If you know anybody interested in any hosts, co-hosts, or to help them manage their rental property, then give them my contact information. That's probably the best way to go about it. That's what I will be doing in 2024 so that I can connect with more realtors, because I've seen success in this area. So that would be like my first tip that I would give you. The second tip that I would have to give you is CohostMarket.com. I've mentioned this on my TikTok page. I think I've even mentioned this on my Instagram. I've mentioned this in my ebook. CohostMarket.com, that is a website specifically for co-hosts looking for hosts. Like, that's essentially the whole website. I will say that there is this limit. It is free, but if you want to be able to send like multiple inquiries to posts who are like, hey, I'm looking for a co-host, I need you to do XYZ, send me a message. If you want to send more than like a couple of messages, then you do have to pay. I think it's only like $20 for the year though. I did it this past year. I didn't subscribe again, but I did do it, and I was actually able to get a few inquiries from that website. I think I was able to get like 4 to 5 inquiries. One of them, I would only say that with that, you just have to make sure that like you do your due diligence, just make sure that the person is verified, the person has the property, and things of that such. But it is a really good website to utilize, so I would highly recommend that you check out CohostMarket.com. Again, that is a place where hosts go to list jobs for co-hosts. So it's another really great place to look at. So the third place that I would highly recommend that you kind of go is look on job sites. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, just look at job sites, Upwork.com, Fiverr.com, Indeed.com. I haven't found a lot of success with Indeed though, but I would still say look there to see if you see anything. But Fiverr, Upwork, those places, those websites, what I would recommend that you do is that you start a profile. And when you start a profile, say, you know, you're an Airbnb co-host, and that way you'll have a profile on those websites that if anybody is looking for a co-host, that your name kind of comes up. Because those websites are like for like independent here and there, like little jobs. But I do have a profile that I set up there, and could be good for you to just kind of cast a wider net for potential opportunities for yourself. The next tip that I have, which I should have mentioned, this is like maybe the second tip honestly, is Facebook groups. I recently started to get into this a lot more. Facebook groups that have like hosts and other co-hosts in them. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna go on Facebook, you're gonna wanna, I think that there's like a groups tab on Facebook, and then you're gonna search up Airbnb hosts or Airbnb co-hosts or looking for
co-hosts. You're gonna look up those like key search words, use Airbnb, use co-host, use host, and of course you'll look up in your local city, and there's like so many groups of people talking about Airbnb, like so many different groups, and just honestly just request to join one of them. I would request to join all of them if I was you. That's what I did. I requested to join multiple. I'm probably in like 20 to 30 different groups because I'm serious about this business, okay? And if you're serious about this business, then that's what I'm talking about, casting a wide net of opportunity for yourself. So Facebook groups is a really good place. I hope to see some success from there. I haven't just yet, to be honest, but I really do hope that I'm able to start to get hosts from that area because I think that'd be really good for me. And I think it'd be good for you too. But basically the Facebook hosts, the Facebook groups, people just go in there and list like, hey, I'm looking for a co-host, or hey, I'm looking for this property, or hey, I'm looking for this cleaner. And sometimes there really isn't anything in the groups, but what you can do is put your name in there and say, hey, my name is XYZ, I'm an Airbnb co-host. If you know anybody looking for a co-host, please, here's my email, please let them contact me. And that's what I do do a lot in these groups. I'll introduce myself and be like, hey, my name is Ariana. I'm an Airbnb co-host in the Houston, Texas area. This is my website and this is my email. I do have like a small website which I can go into depth in another video of like how to create a website for yourself, just so you can look a little bit more professional, even if you don't have any properties, or even if you're just like managing one, which I can do other videos about that as well if you guys are interested, as far as like how to get in this without having prior experience. I did have some rental like experience because I was a leasing manager in college, all throughout college really for 4 years. So I kind of leveraged that experience to have people like trust me to manage their property. I wouldn't say that that's really necessary. All you really need is a really good customer service background. Like if you have a really good customer service background, you'll be great at Airbnb co-hosting. But on the topic of Facebook groups, again, highly recommend this. Just look into your area and look at Facebook groups that could be valuable to you, and just to kind of start marketing yourself. Okay guys, I think those are like my top tips. The only other thing that I can suggest is that you start to create like TikTok videos about it. I wouldn't recommend that like you go on Airbnb.com and try to reach out to hosts like as if you were booking. Like I wouldn't really recommend that. I've tried that in the past before and it wasn't really successful, and you have to go through so many hoops just to like get an answer per se, and that like you have to select the days that you want to book, then you have to send the inquiry, and then the person has to respond to their inquiry. Like it's just a little bit too much, and I don't think that hosts really like that. Just because imagine like if you was, you know, managing somebody and somebody was trying to come and trying to act like they're booking just to kind of see business, to get business. And I get it, that is a way to be persistent, that's a way to be proactive, but I think in that way I just wouldn't recommend that you do that. If you want to do it, go ahead, okay, go ahead and do it. I just wouldn't personally recommend that way. If you're able to find like any Instagrams about people who do hosting, then I would also recommend that as well. But those are the top like recommendations, or like ways in that I can offer to you that would be good to manage or get hosts for Airbnb. I hope you really enjoyed that video. It's kind of short, sweet, to the point. I don't want to waste your time. Again, as I mentioned, I want to be straight up. I want to be authentic. I want to be genuine. Again, there are thousands of hosts in the world. Like, you and I can both get a share. Like we both can get a share of that, and we can both be of service to people, because that's really what I'm all about, is taking gifts and the talents that we have to be of service to people. I know I'm really good at customer service. I know I'm really friendly. I know that I have a good demeanor, so I'm using those skills and my charisma to get me to live authentically. So I hope that this inspires you to at least consider Airbnb co-hosting. And even if you don't take it full time, I do want to take it full time. So my channel, a portion of my channel will be dedicated to showing you guys how I'm doing it. But if that's not your goal, girl, do, or guy, or whoever, you know, do 1 to 2, okay? And make yourself an extra, you know, $500 to $1,000 a month, okay? Because you can really earn a good portion, a good chunk of money consistently month by month. But I'm going to be trying to grow this full time, so I want to share that journey with you guys. If you have any questions, as always, make sure you drop them down in the comments below. I'll try to respond back to them. And I really appreciate you for watching this video. Please again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.